BFM 89.9. Good morning. I'm Nadia Hassan, and this is your morning headlines. So, of course, the World Cup fever is around the corner. If you turn on your TV, drink a Coke, or even are slightly breathing, you can pretty much guess that everybody is gripped in this fever. And the main two English papers certainly bank on that. 1 month of Samba is what New Straits Times goes. Apparently, talking about electrifying anticipation, and of course, a lot of the papers bring a lot of local perspective, where they talk about local families, all the good feel stuff. Where we all stay up basically to watch this as a family. We all hold hands in kumbaya and all this kind of stuff. But basically, it talks about 1 month of Samba, where Brazil's the focus of the world. They make it sound like a gigantic party, don't they? I mean, I don't know how much of this fatigue will actually last. It lasts for 1 month. Let's see if they can keep the energy going. Star actually goes with the big kick-off with this huge picture and very little text, mind you, of the stadium all decked out in the colours of Brazil and what people will be watching for. I think people already started doing office pools, of course not for money, for lunch most likely. And basically, they're just talking about when the time is going to be. The first match is going to be later today at 4 a.m. But the opening ceremony will probably be about 1 a.m. Let's not forget that Brazil's actually 11 hours behind us, so it's almost exactly. So as a result, a lot of the matches are going to be in the middle of the night. So I'm wondering what this is actually going to do for work productivity. Not that I'm saying anything, but I have this very weird feeling a lot of people will be either very dazed at work this month, or, they'll just suddenly pretty much fall off sick. I'm more curious to see what it's going to be like at the end when the finals come. And let's not forget, it's also going to be the tail end of fasting month is going to start, so I don't know how people are going to sort of branch onto that. Malay Mail, of course, excuse the very much football-y news, talking about well done EPF, but protect workers' interests, says MTUC. Although EPF has been hailed as a success story, great returns on the portfolio, and that's a great thing for us considering, hey, it's our money. But the Malaysian Trade Unions Congress has reminded them to remain high standards of transparency. I agree. You do need to do it because technically it's not your money, it's our money, it's all our retirement money. So if there's more transparency, I'm pretty much all for it. You can't just keep because when times are good, everybody's happy, nobody looks. But when times are bad, that's when you actually start to question. No, you should start questioning all the way, and that's what actually should happen. So especially talk about the portfolio. The other little thing before I move on from Malay Mail is this little thing about Lim Kok Wing University beats Cambridge in Facebook hits. Yeah. And this is the front page of news. I don't know what exactly it's supposed to mean, because if you have more students, of course you'll probably get more hits. But even if it's the most liked compared to Cambridge, what is that supposed to imply? The popularity vote? Cult of personality? I have no idea. So I don't understand why it's there. Maybe it's just to show that, hey, local universities can also be liked as opposed to what hated. I have no idea. Utusan Malaysia talks about obese cops. Regardless, all of us should watch over our health. Let's not... Well, for the police side, you definitely don't want that stereotypical American image of cops and donuts. But it talks about warning for obese police. Definitely all of us should, take a thing on your health. I'm trying to at the moment as well. But, it's just one thing that everybody should keep an eye on. That's what Utusan goes with. Sinar goes with the factory is basically like a shed, like an animal husbandry shed. It's about a bihun shop. And, the scenario that's being sort of done in is not exactly very clean. And, you hear a lot about food poisoning these days, so definitely nothing that we want to look at. The other thing also, just before we move on, the funny thing is, El Nino's coming up. A lot of people are having question marks over it. You wonder also, with the recently dry weather, I'm sure you've noticed it's not been raining as much. And Bikale has said that there's going to be no more kind of restrictions, no more water shortages or chatuan. So hopefully, keep this in mind, because if it does come, you can at least haul him up and tell him, look at what you said earlier. Just to finish up for a couple more things with Harian Metro, the country's highest, apparently, circulation paper. It's this little slightly more sensational story. Of course, they talk about football as well. They would. I'd be surprised if they didn't. But basically talk about Chakran Abby. So Abby Abadi, a very popular actress, apparently there's this picture that's been slashed out that apparently she's been abusing her husband. And there's pictures of these scratches, and obviously she's a bit of a wildcat. So a little bit of entertainment news. It's not the Kardashians, but you know what? Thank God for really small miracles that it's not the Kardashians. And as it happens, this also is the word of the day, chakaran, or scratching. As in, scratches, as the case may be. But basically, it's referring to the act of having been scratched. One final little thing that was in the papers that I sort of caught on. A lot of people were actually asking for these tickets before they go, but apparently Taylor Swift wows fans in a sold-out show. I'm glad to see that, there was no kind of... every time a big artist ever comes to Malaysia, it's usually, hey, what they're wearing, hey, their morals thing. But Taylor Swift seems to have kind of not gone run into that, maybe because she's a nice little good girl who doesn't bare her boobs or something. But the interesting thing that I want to point out about this is she actually cancelled her concert in Thailand. Because of the fears of the military junta. Now, I actually recently got back from Thailand. It looks pretty much fine. And I actually went for a concert that was on the pretty much almost the same night as she did. And that guy didn't stop. So, yeah. Anyways, that's it for me. I'm Nadia Hassan. And this has been your morning headlines for BFM 89.9.